Learning, innovation, and creativity in organizations. In all organizations, emphasis is placed on achieving the end goal. It might be increasing sales, building a better product, capturing market share, or any other metric that can be counted or measured. However, in some cases, lesser emphasis is placed on the people themselves. So how important are the people? No organization can reach its goals unless the people within it completely buy into the organization's philosophy, strategy, and culture. So how can leaders shape the culture of the organization to educate members? How can they construct an environment that fosters creativity? And how can they attract new talent? How can leaders create an organizational culture where innovation takes place? This is the purpose of this presentation, to discuss the importance of learning, innovation, and creativity in organizations, and offer ideas and strategies to improve them. So what is the importance of learning in the workplace? Many things have been said, but an old water cooler story is one of my favorites. Two managers are talking about training their employees. The first asks, "Yeah, but what if we train them and they just leave?" The second responds, "What if we don't train them and they stay?" Training your workforce is critical to success. All too often, people look at the initial cost of training and deem it too high. However, not training your workforce can cost you even more. According to the website enrich.org, if an employee makes $60,000 a year, then it costs an average of $30,000 to $45,000 just to replace them, and roughly $54,000 to $120,000 in overall losses to the company. That's a staggering number, and to think a large percentage of turnover is lost because employees are not feeling invested in. And to be honest, if they don't feel like they're being invested in learning and growing, why would they stay? They'll go someplace where they feel more value to the organization and invested in. So let's look at some reasons why learning is so important according to John Lang Training. 1, it makes your employees better at their job. Sounds almost too obvious to mention, but you want the best employees around, and you want them to be the best at their job. 2, it helps establish a consistent culture. Training again and again proves to your employees that they are worth your time and effort. Training is great for recruitment. Once people see your company as the place that trains their staff, and that's a large part of your culture, talented people will flock to your business because they know that they'll grow with you. And education, learning, training is great for retention. Maybe the only thing harder than hiring great employees is holding on to great employees. Great employees enjoy the psychic benefits of their job as much, if not more, than the paycheck. If your culture is focused on education and learning, great employees will want to stick with your company. Well, so yes, there is a cost to train and develop a learning culture, and losing people after investing in them is problematic. However, there's a solution, and it all revolves around culture. Richard Branson said it best when he said, "Train people well enough so they can leave, but treat them well enough so they don't want to." Now, innovation is the lifeblood of any organization, and when organizations fail to innovate, organizations fell. According to the website vocali.com, there are 3 reasons innovation can be stifled. First, fixating on only one successful offering without accepting the fact that something better is going to come along. 2, only focusing on the customer of today without anticipating their needs for the future. And 3, failure to update technology and change with the time. So let's look at each one. The first example is fixating on one successful offering without accepting that something better will come along. Let's talk about the collapse of the empire known as Blockbuster Video. They were a juggernaut. They dominated the video rental industry and even bought up many smaller chains. Then out of the blue, a disruptive force showed up called Netflix. Blockbuster didn't see them as a threat and kept up their old ways. 10 years later, failure to innovate caused the company to file bankruptcy and shut down every single store. Second, focusing only on the customer of today without anticipating their future needs, that's a big one. So let's take a look at an example. Borders Books. In 1971, they opened up their first store focusing on selling books. I mean, after all, people love books and they'll never stop reading. They wanted to expand, so they started selling compact discs and then DVD videos. While it's true people have never stopped watching TV or watching DVDs, listening to music, and reading books, how we get our media has changed drastically. Why would I carry a backpack full of books or a CD holder full of music and a bunch of DVDs? My phone and my tablet now holds thousands of these three types of media all at the same time. And when I want to buy more, I just run them through the App Store. Failure to think of customers' needs in the future caused the collapse of another million-dollar organization. While organizations like Barnes & Noble and Amazon grew at tremendous rates because they saw emerging technology, anticipated change, and both became disruptive forces. Third failure, to update technology and change with the times. A perfect example of this would be the BlackBerry. What an amazing device. It was my Palm Pilot, my Franklin Planner, my cell phone, all in one. Yeah, the keyboard took a little bit to get used to, but I could do it. This was the phone PDA entertainment device I had to have until a little something called the iPhone surfaced. When the iPhone came out, BlackBerry thought they were just a fad. After all, who really wanted a touchscreen device? Then Siri showed up. The camera came on board and it was amazing. And then there was an app that could do almost anything. Hey, there's an app for that. And I could text people without having to have a BlackBerry pin. Because BlackBerry failed to innovate and update their technology, they took a hard dive and their market share dropped all the way down to 0.8% in 2014. When at one time they dominated the computer industry, they lost it all because they didn't update technology. Once again, innovation is the lifeblood of any organization, and failure to innovate ensures overall failure. Just take a look at all of these former superstars. Where are they all at now? If innovation is the lifeblood of the organization, creativity has to be the catalyst that gets those blood cells moving. Creativity is a function of knowledge, curiosity, and evaluation. The greater your knowledge base and level of curiosity, the more ideas, patterns, and combinations you can achieve, which correlates to creating new and innovative products and services. So here's the tie-in to what we've discussed already. In order for an organization to thrive, they must innovate. To innovate, there must be a high level of creativity, and creativity only comes from knowledge and curiosity. Thank you, Daniel Burrus, for providing that. With this being said, it comes clear to me that organizations that do not educate their employees and have a strong learning culture, they kill creativity. And without creativity, innovation is lost. Let me explain it with a real-life story. As a kid, I worked for a CD store called Music Plus. They were a small company, but they took care of their employees. They embraced their differences, and they did a lot to educate us. There were always training events taking place. They even gave us free concert tickets to learn about new music so we could talk about it to our customers. Then doomsday occurred. The private owners of the company sold to another company called Blockbuster, and things changed quickly. The name was changed to Blockbuster Music. Money was spent overhauling the stores, issuing company uniforms, taking away the team's individuality, and limiting their diversity. We all started looking the same. Soon, haircut policies were put in place, further driving away diversity out the window. And then when they stopped all training because they felt the money was better spent elsewhere, the exodus started. And the creative and innovative people that built the company left. And with them went all of what made the company unique. Sure, new people were hired, but they fit the company's mold. They had little or no knowledge of what they were selling. And within a year or two, the customer base just revolted and left because there were no more experts left, and there was nobody that seemed to really enjoy what they did. And thousands of stores called Blockbuster Music died within 2 years. Moral of the story, when they killed diversity and removed learning, innovation died, and so did the company. So if your organization's in danger, how do you create a learning culture? The most important part of learning in the organization is that everyone has to be bought in, Everyone from the leaders who set the culture, the management teams that shares the importance of learning and encourages it with the workers. Care must be taken so the workers see learning as a benefit and not a burden. One mistake is making learning a requirement but not giving employees time to complete it. It simply overloads the staff and makes learning a burden and not a blessing. If you're the leader, make a conscious effort to plan everything around learning. That includes planning to plan learning activities. Find your stakeholders, assess your current workforce, and create a plan to get them better trained. Don't fall into the trap of limiting training to job-related skills. Offer other things, maybe financial training, budgeting skills. Watch the employees stop struggling financially and feel more bought in because they were invested. And finally, incentivize learning. Reward your staff. It doesn't need to be big things. Simple gift cards, company logoed gear, small gifts, or even just public recognition and praise is sometimes all that's really needed. So I've grouped the next topics of creativity and innovation together because you can't have one without the other. Creativity leads to the right innovative ideas and products being implemented or launched. So if your organization is struggling with creativity, how do you help it grow? Neil Goodman, PhD, said in his article, Innovation, Creativity, and Learning, that organizations can foster a more creative workforce by embracing diversity, then capitalizing on it through facilitating close cross-cultural collaboration among employees. Cultural differences should be treated as priceless learning opportunities. Now, I don't think he means we need to run out and hire a bunch of people from other countries. This is definitely helpful, but it's not needed to start the process moving. I suggest we start by looking at projects in the company we want to accomplish. Then pick people from our various departments with different skill sets and backgrounds to start the planning and the launch of the product. These various experiences and views allow them to bring new things to the table that others may have never have thought of, because the different experiences bring different perceptions of things and different perspectives. In the article, Creativity and Innovation, Your Keys to a Successful Organization, Daniel Burrus says we must first understand three important levels of creativity. First, discovery. When you stumble upon something, discover it. If you've never purchased a piece of natural stone art, that was discovered art. The way I see it, when you discover something new, see it as the next big opportunity. Don't just pass it by. Then invention. Look at Alexander Graham Bell. He invented the telephone. But without him, would it ever have been created? Of course it would have, but it may have taken longer. Here's the takeaway. If you discover something new, invent it, because if you don't, someone else will. Remember Blockbuster and Netflix. Now, creation is the highest level of creativity. For example, let's take the play Othello, one of the best dramatic plays in the world. The world would have gone on without Shakespeare, but no one else would have ever written Othello. Likewise, there are things that you and your organization can only create. So Dr. Barris summed up the statement with saying creativity and innovation are different. Creativity refers to generating new and novel ideas, while innovation refers to the application of an idea, and in many cases is a collaborative enterprise. So in other words, innovation is applied creativity. So in conclusion, all three aspects are required if an organization wants to grow, thrive, and dominate. Learning leads to knowledge. Knowledge leads to creativity, and creativity leads to innovation. Without all three, it's just a matter of time before the organization struggles and eventually fails like the other organizations I discussed in this presentation. Thank you, and here are my references.